I would have married you.
You would have married me.
Oh. That is wonderful.
Isn't it? Even if you don't want to be married, make this for somebody that you love. Hey, hi everybody, it's the Papa from the Papa's Kitchen, and I'm cooking up for you today a very, very flavorful, heavy flavor, quick and easy meal. Seems like what you guys ask for the most is that quick, flavorful, easy to put together meal, and this is it. Now, this title of this meal is Marry Me Beans. No, it's not. Marry Me Butter Beans. I didn't have any butter beans in the cupboard, but I had some cannellini beans, and so I'm going to use those. But butter beans, I've never been much of a fan of butter beans because they're really lima beans. You can get them white. I've never tried the white.
They're better than lima beans.
Butter beans are.
They're bigger.
They're bigger,
aren't they?
But do they have the same
No,
mushy texture? That was what killed me.
Well, don't these?
Well, these do, but evidently I just don't think they're that bad. No, they're better. I don't know why. I don't know why. I have a thing about lima beans as a kid. Us kids, oh, we would take them, and my parents, you eat what's on your plate, and it was the only thing. We did broccoli, we did spinach, all that, but lima beans, and to an extent peas. Oh man, I didn't like peas either.
How did you eat lima beans?
You would take them like a pill.
No, I meant how did your mom make them?
Oh, I don't know, but they weren't good. They weren't good. Usually in mixed, have you ever remember those frozen things of mixed vegetables?
And they're in there, yes.
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 And so we would pull them aside, and then we'd get caught.
Yeah.
And so you had to, all three of us boys, I never thought about that for a long time. We would take those things, pop them in our mouth. You don't do anything with it. Certainly don't squish them with your teeth. And you take then a glass of milk and you drop them in like a pill. That's the only way we took them. And we hated them. All three of us. All three of us, Susan. And I need to check with my brothers, but I don't think none of us eat them to this day. Now, I promise you one day I'll grab some kind of recipe with butter beans and try. Should have maybe done it today, but I had these, wanted to use them up. Marry Me butter beans with a substitute of cannellini beans, and that's what we're going to make today. Now, why do they call it Marry Me? It's because evidently the flavors are so great, so rich, that when you make this up for that person you intend to, that you want him or her to agree to marriage with you, they eat this, they want to immediately marry you. Okay. So I so far have heard of Marry Me butter beans. I've heard of Marry Me chicken. I think Ina Garten makes some Marry Me chicken, which is, again, very flavorful. It incorporates cream. It'll usually incorporate a broth. In this case, I'm doing a vegetable broth. I've got some basil. I've got some spices, some garlic, some butter, of course. I've also got some, which I love this stuff lately on salads and everything, is sun-dried tomatoes chopped up. So I'm going to put this all together for you. So here's what we do. We start with about 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and then it calls for 4 garlic cloves, but I got such a couple of big ones here that I'm not going to do 4. I'm going to do just 3 of these big ones. I like garlic, but man, this is a lot of garlic.
Whoa, that is a big one.
Yeah, it really was, and I've got 2 more to go. Man, that thing's tough. Wow, look at how much garlic is off that thing. Maybe should have only done 2, but I do like garlic, so no big deal. Now, this recipe doesn't have any meat in it, but also ahead of time, I had some andouille sausage in there that's been in there for a while, so I grabbed it, cut it up, and I just charred it in some oil. That's what we're going to add to this, so not a big deal. Okay, and then with this, and I don't want this too hot too fast. So with this, I'm going to also put in, because this is where the flavor component comes into play, about a ½ teaspoon of the following: some salt.
I smell that garlic.
Oh, I know it. Some smoked paprika. That wasn't quite enough. There we go. Some oregano. And some red pepper flakes. Half a teaspoon each of these things. Red pepper flakes gives it a little warmth. And I'm probably, for Susan's sake, I'm going to put in just a little less than half there.
Not much.
Oh, I did a lot less. You'll be fine. And then really all you do is you want to cook this. Get that all stirred around in there like that. And cook this for about a minute, 2 minutes actually. Make it 2 minutes until the garlic gets nice and flavorful and smelly aroma. And then what we're going to do then is add the rest of the components. I don't even want that farm down there. I'm going to keep that off the heat a little bit. I'm telling you though, this is something that goes quick, and you're going to see it here in a second. So I'm going to take that just like that. Actually, let me turn this off just for a second because I don't want it to cook anymore. And I'm going to drain my beans. There we go. Pour those in there. Now do the other can. 2 15-ounce cans of these. And again, calls for butter beans. If you have them, use them.
I'm going to try one.
Yeah, I think they're delicious personally. I love them.
They taste like lima beans.
Yeah, good deal. There you go. And then I'm going to also put in, and I probably should have done it just before I put all this other in here, but anyhow, I'm going to put in my sun-dried tomato stuff. And that really makes it look nice.
Looks like you missed cutting that one.
I did. Let's cut him down.
Yeah.
There we go. Now that's happy too. Oh, I'd already turned the power off. Forgot. Let's get that going. Again, I'm doing about medium heat there. And I just want to get this cooked in pretty nicely here, get it warmed up. And oh, let me add some pepper too. I forgot to add some pepper. I need about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. There it is. All I'm going to do with this is I'm going to add a 1/2 cup thereabouts of a large 1/2 cup, let's say it that way, of vegetable broth. Now, I want to tell you this. At this point, you got to sort of decide what you're going to eat this with or what you're going to eat it over. Some people would eat it plain, but a lot of people would probably find themselves putting this, when it's all said and done, on rice or pasta, and I didn't want to do either one. I'm doing something different tonight. I actually toasted a couple of slices of sourdough bread, and we're going to put the bread on the bottom and just put this over, so that sort of makes the meal kind of thing. If you're planning though on doing rice or pasta, you probably want to add a little bit more vegetable broth, even up to maybe a cup instead of a 1/2 cup. And the reason is you want it a little thinner if you're going to use one of those types of components, because it soaks it up a little bit differently. Exactly right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/2 cup of vegetable broth.
You wouldn't have to put it on anything though, I bet.
You really wouldn't. And by the way, you don't have to put anything in it. Like I'm going to add the andouille. You could do tofu. You could do, I guess, pieces of chicken if you want it. I'm going to do a little bit more. Pieces of chicken, I suppose.
Shrimp, you said?
Yeah, shrimp I think would have been really good in here. I thought about that actually earlier. You really don't need anything, and we're just going to let this cook up a little bit for about 5 minutes. And I'm going to walk away here for a little bit, and when I come back, we'll add the other components. And I mean, this is how simple this really gets. We'll come back. I'll put the remaining ingredients in, and what I'm going to do, by the way, it's going to be about, I picked it up at the store today, I'm going to use about a cup of chopped up baby spinach that I've got, and that's going to go in there and nicely wilt. I'm going to put some cream in to thicken it up. I'm going to add some grated Parmesan, and this meal is going to come together. And I mean, it's a 10-minute meal. I mean, it really is. Yeah, it's going to be good, I think. And by the way, you could also put in some other vegetables too if you wanted. I thought about throwing some mushrooms in, you know, or whatever. But let that cook really good now, and let those flavors permeate those beans, and even the let the flavor of the sun-dried permeate in there too. And then we're going to come back and I'll put it all together for you. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, and this has been cooking in that broth, and boy, I just tasted it. The flavors just explode in your mouth. It's really, really good. So here's what we do next. We're turning the fire off, or the heat off, get it off the heat. And in fact, I'll let this cool down just for a second, and let me talk to you about the remaining of this. I'm going to put in a half a cup, no, excuse me, I'm going to put in a whole cup of both heavy cream and chopped baby spinach that I've got here. The spinach is going to melt, or wilt, not melt, wilt, good Lord. The cream is just going to thicken this up really, really nicely. And then to finish it, well, here, I'll show you what we're going to do. Here's half a cup. Let's do this twice.
Wow, seems like a lot.
It does, doesn't it? But it's going to be good. Just stir that a little bit. And then we're going to put in the spinach. There we go. And get that all nicely stirred around.
It's off again.
No, I turned it off.
Oh,
you don't want to do this with the...
no.
Now look you don't want to freeze this, because with the cream in there, that won't freeze well. But I'll tell you what, this will sit in your fridge for 5 days if you've got leftovers, probably up to 5 days, and be just really delicious. And look at that, that is just beautiful. And just let that all stir around that way. And then the only other components I'm going to put in to make it the Italian dish it really is I'm going to put in about a half a cup of grated, and I've got fresh grated Parmesan cheese here. And then I'm going to add, and you can leave them off if you don't like them, because I've got friends that don't like them at all, but I've got about 2 tablespoons of chopped basil. And that's going to go in as well and finish the flavor component of this thing. We're just going to let that keep heated up here and just let it wilt down nicely.
Whoa, is it raining?
It really is, and my windows were just washed yesterday. Doesn't that figure?
Every time.
Every single time.
That's why it's raining. You wash your car, it rains.
Yeah.
You wash your windows.
I didn't know we were supposed to get this heavy of a rain, and it's blowing out there.
Well, it's already our summer tropical.
And by the way, some of you have asked about Sarah Solo up in our tribe up in Nebraska, because you may have seen the tremendous amount of tornadoes that went through that area.
That was a while ago.
That was a little while ago, but they're fine. That never hit them, just to give you a little history on it. They live south of the town and of Lincoln, and the tornadoes were all north, and then north of Lincoln onward over to Omaha. And so some of those communities got really devastated, unfortunately. And that was the first go around. And then there was more the next day, I think, in Oklahoma. And then there was more again in New Orleans and Texas and that way. And oh, it's been just crazy
and there's
weather.
more again today.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
It's springtime in Nebraska.
Springtime, yeah. So that's what that looks like. And then here is my parm. And let me take that out. I'll chop some more in there, but I want to stir that all in. Let me put a little bit more in there. That's just too good of a stuff not to. I do love this taste. Parmesan has that salty, almost little bitter taste that just adds another flavor component to just about any dish, and I just love it. Oh, that's great. And we're gonna stir that around in there. Look at what that does. And then last, I've got some of my basil fresh off of the garden. And I'm just gonna, well, I should chop that too, just to do it right here.
That looks really good.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
It smells delicious.
It does. Until our friends went to Italy, I never heard of beans with greens.
Oh yeah, no, it's a very...
Because I'd never had it before, but I guess it's very common over in Italy.
And it's the protein.
Yep, it is your main protein.
Look at that. We're just gonna throw that in there too.
That's a lot of basil.
It is.
Good.
I think I've got enough there.
I like it.
I know, I do too. I really do. That, folks, is the done dish right there. And to serve this up, I'm just going to take a bowl. I've got my piece of sourdough toast right there. Okay, and because I want some andouille sausage, I'm going to put that actually on the bottom of my toast, just like that. And then on top of that goes these beautiful Marry Me beans. Marry Me.
You wouldn't have married me if I'd have made you that.
Oh, if I had made you this, you would have absolutely jumped into my arms.
You weren't cooking then. You'd have gone lima beans.
No, I don't want those. If you had done lima beans, I probably would have not married you. You'd be, you'd still be single to this day.
Yeah, right.
So let me just get a fork and try this out, if you don't mind, Mrs. David.
I'm zooming in on you.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Oh my God.
What was that like? Was it good?
Look at all
You have to have
that.
a second bite, huh? Oh.
Yeah, it's just great. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is a 15-minute meal. That's what it did.
It was.
You're gonna love it. Try this one. I'll try to put the ingredients and the amount down below, but it's easy. You can't go wrong with this. If it, you know, just experiment until it's where you want it. In fact, I need just a little bit more salt. That'll be good. Oh, very, very good. So there you go. If you're not married, if you're single, want to be married, if you had a spouse that passed away, I'm so sorry, but if you want to be remarried, that's a good question one day. I would love to take a poll. If somebody's spouse passes away, who wants to be remarried? We've talked about this as my brothers and our wives together dozens of times. I won't even get into that. We would be here for hours.
We'll be here forever.
But no matter what, even if you don't want to be married, make this for somebody that you love, and they'll love you back. I promise you that much. So try it out and enjoy it. And we'll see you next time. Okay, Susan, come over here and try this. No, I want to see if I had made this for you before we were married 50 years ago, would you have married me? Go ahead, you try. I'm a keeper.
I would have married you.
You would have married me. That very night.
That was great.
Yeah, that's good.
That is wonderful.
Isn't that great? I just love it.
Oh my.
I just love it. It's so easy, so good. Yeah. And by the way, if you're newly married and you don't know how to cook, this is a simple recipe to put together.
For a new wife.
And for the new wife or new husband, do this. Your spouse will absolutely go crazy.
And your mother-in-law.
Oh yeah, don't have her over. Not if you're newly married. Leave her alone. All right. See you later. Enjoy.